You've probably heard the saying, money can't buy happiness. But what if I told you it also can't buy presence? It can't buy connection or a genuine smile. This is the story of a homeless man who taught the richest man he ever met how to live. Imagine being surrounded by all the luxuries life has to offer, yet feeling emptier than an empty wallet. That was the life of a successful millionaire until his path crossed with a homeless man who turned his world upside down. Let's dive into the tale of how a millionaire learned life lessons from a homeless man. 1. David living large, feeling empty. David Sanders had it all. At 38, he built a multi-million-dollar tech company from the ground up. His office overlooked the city, a constant reminder of his empire. He drove the sleekest cars and his penthouse apartment was a sanctuary of luxury. But behind the tinted windows and guarded doors, David was drowning in a sea of loneliness. His days were filled with meetings and deadlines, his nights with takeout and television. Friends became business associates and family gatherings were replaced by networking events. He was a master of his domain, but the kingdom he ruled was built on shifting sands. Success had been his solace, his only companion in a world he thought he conquered. But now, he realized there was an emptiness within him, void that no amount of money could fill. One day, while walking back from lunch, David noticed an old man sitting on a street corner. He wasn't begging, just sitting quietly, observing the bustling city. David didn't pay much attention. He'd seen this man many times before, but today, their eyes met and David felt a strange tug. Number 2. Marcus finding calm amidst the chaos. The homeless man's name was Marcus. He'd been on the streets for years, ever since his wife passed away in a hit-and-run accident. The grief had been unbearable, leading him to lose his job and eventually his home. But somehow in his weathered face, etched with the passage of time and hardship, there was a calmness that David envied. He'd seen countless faces like Marcus's, but today, something was different. Maybe it was the way Marcus seemed at peace with himself, or maybe it was the twinkle in his eyes that hinted at a life well lived. David couldn't help but wonder, what stories do the lines on your face tell? What secrets have you held close? As the days went by, David found himself drawn to Marcus and his corner. He started bringing extra food or sometimes just sat with the homeless man, enjoying the quiet companionship. It was during these moments that David realized he wasn't just seeking friendship. He was searching for a piece of the puzzle that made life worth living again. Number 3. An unexpected connection. One afternoon, David found himself walking past Marcus's corner late at night. The city was alive with neon lights and distant music, but here in this quiet corner, there was just David and the homeless man. And then it happened. David dropped his wallet, the leather slipping from his numb fingers. Before he could react, Marcus was beside him, his weathered hands holding out David's fallen belongings. In that split second, David saw not a homeless man, but a beacon of honesty and integrity. Touched by Marcus's kindness, David wanted to reward him with money, but the homeless man politely refused. Instead, Marcus asked for something extraordinary. He requested that David spend some time each week at the shelter, sharing his story and providing guidance. Overcome with emotion, David readily agreed. He realized he had so much to learn from this man who had so little. The walls around his heart started crumbling, revealing the man he once was, full of empathy and warmth. 4. The ripple effect of kindness. Each week, David made time to visit the homeless shelter. At first, he felt awkward, unsure of what to say. But as the weeks passed, he found a rhythm. He shared his life experiences, his highs and lows, and most importantly, he listened. He listened to the stories of those who had faced more hardships than he could imagine. He saw resilience, strength, and hope. It was humbling. As David engaged with the residents, he noticed changes within himself. The loneliness that had clung to him for so long started to fade, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose. He initiated programs to help residents reintegrate into society, offering not just financial aid, but emotional support too. Back at work, he found himself treating his employees better, understanding that their needs and feelings were just as important as the numbers on their performance reviews. Word spread of David's transformation, and soon people from other companies reached out, inspired by his shift in perspective. It wasn't just about money anymore. It was about making a difference. Number 5. Finding happiness in simplicity in the midst of all this change. David never forgot Marcus. He visited him regularly, bringing news of the shelter and the lives they were changing together. One day, David found Marcus sitting on his usual bench, lost in thought. "You seem troubled," David asked, concerned. Marcus turned to him, his eyes filled with emotion. "I can't stop thinking about all the good you've done, David. I often wonder why I was chosen to change your life." David smiled, realizing that the choice was never about Marcus. It was about him. "You chose me, Marcus, when you picked up my wallet. You taught me that material possessions don't define a person. You showed me that kindness is the truest measure of a human being." They sat in silence for a while, each lost in his own thoughts. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. It was a beautiful moment, a testament to the power of human connection. Then, as if out of nowhere, Marcus spoke again. "David, I have something you once said to me." Startled, David looked at him. "I want to give you something. I've kept it all this time." From his worn coat pocket, Marcus pulled out a small wooden box. He handed it to David with a gentle smile. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvet, was David's wallet. The same wallet he'd lost months ago. He couldn't believe it. How had Marcus kept it all this time? Tears welled up in David's eyes as he looked at Marcus. He understood now that the homeless man hadn't simply picked up his wallet. He had picked up a part of his soul that had been lost. Number 6. Paying it forward. Years went by. David continued his philanthropic work, expanding it to include education and healthcare. His life, once focused solely on profit, now revolved around service. He started a scholarship fund for underprivileged students and sponsored numerous medical clinics in developing countries. Every decision he made was guided by the values he learned from Marcus. One day, David received a call that changed everything. The news had been covering the increasing number of homeless people in the city, and they wanted David, known for his generosity, to comment on the situation. Not wanting to shy away from the issue, David agreed. He flew to the city, ready to share his insights. On arrival, he learned that the mayor had organized a summit on homelessness, inviting experts and volunteers to brainstorm solutions. As David entered the room, he saw a familiar figure sitting among the attendees. It was Marcus. He had been invited too. Overwhelmed with gratitude, David approached Marcus and embraced him tightly. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "None of this would have been possible without you." Marcus smiled, his eyes twinkling with kindness. "It wasn't me, David. It was life. It's just showing you what truly matters." The summit was a turning point. Ideas were exchanged, resources were allocated, and most importantly, hearts and minds were open. Together, they developed comprehensive plans to tackle the issue, ensuring no one in the city would go without basic necessities. In that moment, David realized the impact one person can have. Marcus didn't just change David's life. He became a catalyst for positive change in the entire city. Number 7. Legacy of the homeless man. News of the city's initiative spread like wildfire. People from across the country reached out, eager to contribute and replicate the program in their own communities. Before long, David and Marcus were traveling the nation, sharing their story and inspiring others to follow suit. Their message was simple. The homeless man had taught the rich man about life, reminding everyone that true wealth lay in compassion and empathy. David continued to support various charities, mentoring young leaders and advocating for those who couldn't speak for themselves. He established a foundation dedicated to helping the underprivileged, ensuring that no one had to face hardship alone. Marcus, always humble, continued to inspire on everyone he met. His story became a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest of times, kindness could prevail. As the years passed, David grew older, but his spirit remained young, thanks to the influence of the homeless man who had shown him the beauty in simplicity, the strength in humility, and the importance of living a life filled with purpose and passion. Final thoughts. The tale of David and Marcus reminds us that sometimes the greatest teachers come from the most unexpected places. It challenges us to look beyond our circumstances and recognize the humanity in everyone. Marcus may have been homeless, but he was far from powerless. His story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of kindness. So let us all strive to be like Marcus, spreading love and compassion wherever we go. Because in doing so, we enrich not only the lives of others, but our own as well. And if you're looking for more stories that touch the heart and inspire the soul, don't forget to stay tuned for more content. Until next time, keep being kind, keep being curious, and keep believing in the goodness of humanity.